Hey guys, today I'm going to do a review of Ipswich River Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, uh, I live in Massachusetts, just 30 miles east west of Boston, and it's it's pretty well developed. But there's some decent places to check out. Yeah, this is one of them. It's right outside of, it's right west of Ipswich, and it's right outside of Boxford. Now this Now, one of the things I liked about this place is a lot of birds. It's a great place for bird sighting. It's right along the Ipswich River, and it's right next to a swamp. Now, towards the north, just outside the information center, because this place is owned by Mass Audubon. There's a rock formation. The original owner of this area, back in the 1940s and 50s, he hired some uh, landscapers to put up this rock formation, and it's in a circle. It's very beautiful. And they also brought in some Japanese trees. I think they're Japanese ferns because when I was hiking along there yesterday, there was ferns there I never seen before. They had smaller bristles and were more bunched up closer together, like in clusters. So it's very odd looking trees that you don't typically see here in New England. Now, they have a canoe landing. They have a canoe service. Unfortunately, because it's not technically a state park. It's owned by Mass Audubon. You have to pay $7 for parking, but once you have and they have their own they have a gift shop. I bought a pure maple syrup lollipop. It's pretty good actually, but it's they have a canoe landing, and so you can actually canoe up and down the Ipswich River, and you can check out the marshlands they have there. And like I said, it's a very good spot for bird watching. They have several platforms that run through the marsh along the trails that allow you to look at birds because it's swampland. Now, naturally, since it's wintertime, I didn't see a lot, but I saw some chickapees, which, if you're not familiar, chickapees are these birds that they have black and white feathers, and they have a totally white underbelly. Like where I live here I live in a small city, about 35 minute drive from uh, Ipswich Wild Ipswich River Wildlife Sanctuary, and so we don't see those around here. We see blue jays, some cardinals, but that's really it. And but it's a good spot for checking out the bird for bird watching. This book where I found out about it, 50 Places to Hike in Massachusetts. The it there's 25 according to this is 2,500 acres, which is fairly large. And there's plenty. According to the map they gave us, there's a lot of trails to check out. It's not that far from I-95. It's only about 4 miles away. Once you get to it's if you're in the Boston area and you see watching this video, I'd say it's about 35 minute drive for you guys. So it's the same from where I live because I'm just south of NH. Um, Funnily enough, on the Massachusetts Atlas and Gazette, they don't they don't have it marked down because it's technically not a state forest. Let me see if I can pull it up. Switch. All right. Section 29. Yeah, here it is. I actually had to put it in. So if you see there, oh, it's actually near Topsfield, but no, yeah, I had to pass through Boxford. Those tops, as you can see there, it's not that far from I-95. Fairly close, actually. Funnily enough, I actually hiked at the Harold Parker State Forest before. I have to visit there sometime. And going on to Section 30, I marked it down there. It's pretty close to the. It's actually not that far from the coast. Um, it's technically not. It's bordering Ipswich, but it they call it but it's technically not in Ipswich. It's just it's because it's all on the Ipswich River, so they call it that. Now, funnily enough, this book I have the it has Plum Island down there. I have not hiked there yet. I should do that. Beverly, I've passed through Beverly. I had a friend of mine. His dad lives there. It's not that far from Beverly. Route 128 comes off of I-95. Going out of Boston, Route 128 and I-95 are the same, but then around just before Peabody, it splits off in I-95 towards the north, and 128 towards the Gloucester, towards Gloucester. Yeah, Gloucester, Rockport. But yeah, besides that, you have pretty unique trees planted there back in the 50s. That unique rock formation that was set up by landscapers that the original owner hired, like I said, back in the 40s and 50s. What else can I think of? Oh, I got lost. I wasn't too familiar with it, and I had to reread the map. That's why I mentioned the canoe landing, because once I got to the canoe landing, I was able to figure out, oh, if I just go this way and go that way, and I'll be back here at the information center. People who work there are pretty friendly. They do have hours. See, if you come off, let me go back to this. It's 29, yeah, 29. If you come off of I-95, of course, you can always, like, Google this, right? Look it up on Google Maps. But, if you want to do things the old school way, if you're coming off of I-95, the way to get there is you get off on, I think it's exit 52. Yeah, exit 52. Or you can get off an exit 53. This Gazette was running back in 20. I bought this back in either 2020 or 2021, so the exit numbers might be a little outdated. But if you get it, according to this exit 53, it brings you to Route 97. Route 97, and you meet up at Ipswich Road, right? And that brings you across to Route 1. I mean, you can always get off at exit 50 on the Route 1 and make your way up to Ipswich. You can get off at exit 50 on Route 1, get up to Howard Street. Yeah, get up to Howard Street, take a right off of Howard Street, and it'll lead you to the Perkins Row. And there's the way to get to the sanctuary is there's a very small street because it's snowed in. I had to wait for I had to politely wait for cars to pass, or I was nice enough to let two cars pass. But there's Perkins Row, and there's an off street that leads into the sanctuary. There's a sign there. It's not a big sign. It's pretty, it's a medium to small sign, but it's noticeable. That tells you that you're at the Ipswich River Sanctuary. How hard is the hike? I was there for about an hour and a half. I only hiked on 2 trails. Not even the trails that are mentioned in the book, just some off trails that they had there. When was this book written, actually? This book was written back in because some of these photos are old, so I think this book's old. This book was written back in 2006. Yeah, no, it was updated maps by John Brady back in 2006. Yeah, so last update in this book was back in 2006. I'm assuming this was printed after, but I didn't take the trails that they recommend. I did take the trail around the rock formation, which that was recommended, but the other big trail, I didn't take that. I took some of the smaller trails, and that's where I got lost. But it's not that big of a place. I mean, 2,500 acres. How much? I think it's. Let me look this up. How many acres is it in a square mile? How many acres in a square mile? 640. Oh, that is big. All right, my bad. I was speaking out of turn. 640 acres in a square mile. So this place is about 4 square miles. So it's decently big for concerning the area because, like I said, this is within 30 miles of less than 40 miles from Boston, and around Boston. And I noticed this because I went on a cross country trip with my mom. Whenever you go to a large city, usually within 50 miles of a large city like New York, Boston, it's pretty heavily populated. But yeah, and considering where it is close to Boston, it's pretty quiet area. what do I rate it? I mean, considering I took the trail in the winter, people always already walk through the place. Oh, that's another thing. The I don't know if it's free or if you have to pay for it, but you get snowshoes. They do supply snowshoes at the place. I never bothered because the trails were already trampled down from people walking all over them. So so that's a plus during the winter. So what would I give it as a rating? I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's not the best, but it's good. It's pretty good. Anyways, that's it for today. Bye.